few years ago, Anthony was asked how he hoped he would be remembered, and here's what he said, quote, "Maybe that I grew up a little, that I'm a dad, that I'm not a half-bad cook, that I can make a good coke oven. That would be nice, and not such a bad bastard after all." Reaction pouring in from all over the world. Actress Rose McGowan tweeted out her heartbreak, saying this, "Anthony, I am so mad at you. You were so loved. The world is not better without you. I have a message for those considering suicide as the solution to a temporary problem. Please call a hotline. Please reach out. Asia needed you, Anthony. We needed you. Please come back." McGowan also shared a video of herself sobbing, asking anyone who feels like they're going to hurt themselves to please seek help.
To those considering suicide, please don't. Please call for help, because it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It's not forever. And the world will not be better off without you. Oh, Asia Argento, you've been through so much. Anthony, why? Please call a suicide hotline. This will affect people all over the globe, because Bourdain was international.
Andrew Zimmerman, who starred alongside Bourdain during his time at the Travel Channel, tweeted out this, "I'm so angry this morning. Life is hard and crazy. And Tony, I love you. I'm wearing your boots that I never wore because they were yours and going to work. Everyone should hug some extra people today. My heart is heavy." Celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay tweeting out this, "Stunned and saddened by the loss of Anthony Bourdain. He brought the world into our homes and inspired so many people to explore cultures and cities throughout their food. Remember that help is a phone call away." And CNN President Jeff Zucker put out this statement saying, "Tony was an exceptional talent, a storyteller, a gifted writer, a world traveler, and adventurer. He brought something to CNN that no one else had ever brought before. Tony will be greatly missed, not only for his work, but also for the passion with which he did it." Maybe, though, maybe we shouldn't be surprised by any of this. The suicide rate in America is so high, it's now considered a public health crisis. Suicide rates are up in every state but one, Nevada. North Dakota's suicide rate jumped more than 57% since 1999. The suicide rate in Montana is the highest in the country. And get this, in half of our states, the number of suicides increased 30%. The question is why? Let's ask clinical psychologist Judy Ho. Welcome, doctor. I want to focus first on Anthony Bourdain and read you something that he once said on retirement. He said on retirement, "I gave up on that. I've tried. I think I'm just too nervous, neurotic, driven. I would have had a different answer a few years ago. I might have deluded myself into thinking that I'd be happy in a hammock or gardening, but no, I'm quite sure I can't. I'm going to pretty much die in the saddle." What do you make of that?
Well, it really sounds like Anthony is somebody who was driven by his career. That was a huge part of his identity. And I think that when somebody has such a big career and are actually passionate about what they do every day, it's hard to kind of move towards the later phases of life and think about what that might look like if they have more time. What would they be spending that on, especially when your identity and self-concept is so rooted in everything that you've built. On top of that, he also mentioned the neuroses, the fact that he really worries about things. And that is sort of a trait of a lot of people who are high achievers, but at the same time, it can also drive them to certain moments of despair, and those concerns can sometimes snowball into more of a clinical problem.
He once said that he spent 5 days a month with his family. You know, he has an ex-wife and an 11-year-old daughter, but he spends 5 days a month with his family, and the rest of the time he travels and he works on his show. I mean, I'm not you, obviously, but to me that means maybe he had difficulty really connecting with the people he loved in his life, and he was driven by something else.
That's right. And then at the same time, we are all social animals. Human beings need connection and relationships. And, you know, I've often talked about this with friends and even some of my patients, that when we're on our deathbeds, we're not going to be recounting all of the things that we were able to achieve. We're going to be thinking about those memories with loved ones. And with that sort of lack of really connecting with people does come a sense of isolation. And we know that individuals who might sink into depression or contemplate suicide, they do feel very isolated with a lot of their worries and thoughts unchecked, and that is a risk factor.
A lot of people are tweeting out they're angry that Anthony Bourdain did this, mad at him, really sad, but mad because they loved him so much. Do people contemplating suicide, do they think about the feelings of those they're going to leave behind?
You know, it's unfortunate, but when somebody is contemplating suicide, they can only see what's in front of them. So people sometimes have called it a selfish act, and it's not selfish in the way that somebody is narcissistic. It's just that when your worries are so compounded and so severe, you really cannot see anything outside of your own suffering and experience. And so the concerns of other people are really at that point the last on your mind when you're in that much of despair.
Judy Ho, thank you so much. If you know someone, you know someone who's maybe considering suicide, please remember there is help out there, and it's just a phone call away. Call the number on your screen, 1-800-273-8255, or text HOME to 741-741. And actually,